Greetings everyone and welcome inside the Mind of Matt. I'm here with another live stream brought to you from my makerspace in upstate New York. Today I am going to finish what I started last night. If you weren't here or didn't watch the live stream playback, I got to a certain point and had discovered that the motor mounts, this is the old version, did not line up with the new version. As you see, there is a difference. So it took a little bit for these guys to print. They printed first time, each one, no failures, straight up, no problems. Just, it took, I didn't even check to see how long, because I started one, I ended the live stream, and then I spent another 3 hours on my website trying to get that up and running, which I was successful on discovering some things and kind of learning my way around WordPress. And if you get a chance to check out my new website at some point tonight or in the near future, it's still under construction. I don't really have an exact format that I'm looking for or anything, but it's just a place that I can kind of like take everything about me and about my channel, about what's going on, and kind of like put it all in one place. I am starting to gather some financial support from people in Patreon and stuff to that effect, so I would eventually like to be able to have some type of special feature for Patreon supporters, whether it be a special video or special discounts or something like that. But someplace that on the website that as a Patreon supporter you'll have a special login and everything, and you'll have access to special content and stuff like that. So in the near future, but the website is www.insidethemindofmatt.com. So check it out. It's not, like I said, it's not exactly 100%, and it probably won't be for a while. But so got a couple people in the chat. We got Chris. He was here first off. Got Minnesota Maker. Got Apocalypse Survivor, and we got CNX Tech. What's going on, people? Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you see up here, I have Mo is actually behind me. I transferred. I did lie. I take that back. I printed these guys on Yolanda. You saw me start one of them, and after the second print, I started just for the sake of having them during the stream in case something broke. I didn't want to have an excuse as to why I couldn't continue to build. So I printed a couple extra collars. I did make it out and about today, and I picked up some washers. That was a recommendation from one of the other viewers, as well as one of the group members, and I believe he is actually building a piper himself as well. So I tried a couple. I found a couple in my kit, but it wasn't quite enough to actually do the whole project. So the lack of these parts, plus kind of like gave me a little point where it was a stopping point and make it a part 2. So needless to say, I've got some work to do on John the Piper, and he is going to basically become version 2. Not Piper 2, but version 2 of Piper 1. Just so that we can clarify that. Got some more people joining. Why don't you chime in on the chat and let us know who you are, and that way I know who's watching. And if you haven't subscribed, then please make sure that you are subscribed. That way you can continuously get notifications when you set that bell icon to set notifications. You'll know when my future videos are coming out. Now, on a side note, yesterday was also partly an announcement about my 2,500 subscriber giveaway. Now, I have not heard back from the gentleman that was providing the prizes for the giveaway, which was 30 rolls of filament. He has not gotten back to me yet. So as soon as he gives me some kind of notification, and we'll do a live stream, and that's what I'd like to do. Is I'd like to do a live stream. Hopefully we'll have Piper printing, and we can print some of their filament and give some of it away. So nice. You're modifying. What are you doing? A Z brace? Oh, you're increasing the Z height to 500 millimeters. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing about a hobby is. But think about it, guys. Seriously, all kidding aside, there are plenty of hobbies that you could do out there, and they're just going to drain your money. With 3D printing, if you have your machine tuned well and you have the ability to do designing of any shape or form, then it's a hobby that you can actually turn into a small money-making business. So, but with any hobby, the point that I was trying to make, with any hobby, you're going to spend money. How much is a round of golf? How much is 18 holes of golf? I used to play paintball, and we go to certain fields and practice and stuff, and you buy a case of paint and it's $40, just to play all day, plus the gas to get there, plus lunch, so you're spending $50-$60 versus spending a little bit of money on some filament or some upgraded parts or something like that, and you got yourself something you can make some money. That what you're seeing right there is a Titan Arrow. So the frame that you're seeing it mounted to is for a Titan Arrow. I can give you the link to that actual whole Titan E3D Arrow mount. But if you don't have the rest of it, it's just not going to mount up very well. But I'd gladly do that. Give me a second. Got it in a different window. Take it over here. Just give me a second, I'll find that for you. Does anybody else have a problem that when they go to Thingiverse, you sign in and then you go back another time and you're not signed in? And you tell it to sign in? Ooh, I'm going to start yawning again and not going to do that. All right. Go back to the main. My collection. Things to make. I'm looking. Should be a fairly recent. Yeah, there we go. Copy and paste. That is the carriage mount. So yeah, this mod was. All right. So I am, let's see, yeah. All right. Well, at least I'm not the only one. But anyways, so what I'm going to do, guys, I'm just going to change the camera view, and I'm just going to kind of, just work, Where I'm working is over there. The computer's right here in front of me. I got a little distance. I do have a screen up so that I can kind of look for the screen, but once again, if you've kind of directed, I know it might be a little bit of a pain in the butt but if you have a direct comment or a question for me, if you could just tag me in it, then I'll see it, and I will, sorry, I'm getting a text message. Turn that off. And that way I can address it when I see that you're talking about me. So, yeah, and just so that you know that there are other options other than official E3D. I have on the Piper here, it's basically the same exact thing, but it's called a Tough Extruder by TH3D Studios. And, just between me and you 8 people here right now, plus whoever watches this in the playback, they come from the same manufacturing plant. E3D commissions them to be milled at a plant, and it's an open source, so anybody that wants to commission that plant to manufacture them for them, they can buy them. So, but how about the Titan or the Piper Core XY? That is Piper 2. Alex has been working on getting the STL files gathered, renamed, and to the point where he can upload them to Thingiverse and provide them for the masses. And then he, it'll be out there. My intention is to disassemble my ANET A8 and use its electronics to make a 200 by 200 Core XY Piper 2. So that will be coming in the future. Maybe I will do a last. I got to fix the bed wires going on the ANET, but otherwise, maybe I'll print the parts for. Oh, thank you, dear. Okay, thank you. Refreshments. So yeah, maybe I'll print the parts on the ANET for the Piper 2. Maybe that'll be, cool little video segment, but do its last print. It's printing, it's a 3D printed casket for a 3D printer. What would that be? Another 3D printer, right? It's resurrected. Corny. But anyway, see, that was 5 seconds inside the Minomat, just so you know. Anyways, so I have this camera view for my close-up work. Hello. And then, of course, I will give you a nice little far view, both of this camera as well as the close-up. And then we've got the opposite. A little close-up, a little far away. Good evening, 3D Medic Vince. I would think, all right, just because I'm not really particular on one type of printer versus the other. My Delta, I love the movement. I love the the movement. You know, it's kind of cool the way it works. I haven't got it to the point where I'm getting as good of quality out of my Cartesian styles, but it also has to do, I believe, with the actual hot end and extruder assembly. It's not the best. I believe if I was to do a little upgrading to the hot end, maybe put a E3D or something comparable to that on it, I might get a little bit better quality out of it. But it would be really cool to see a Delta, a Piper Delta. That would be great. Hello, Rover. Yes, I got your message. I deleted my tweet, and I smacked my head up against the wall 3 times. He said he was going to stop it when he hit 5,000 subscribers or a certain time period, which I don't remember him saying a specific time period. And I signed up for a contest that I was already giving away. But anyways, that's what happens. Oh, geez. Yeah, so, day late, dollar short. So if you guys don't protest, I'm going to go to work on the Piper. Once again, if you got any questions for me, go ahead and check out, tag me in it so I can see it. So let's switch over to this view and I'll get to work. So where I left off, basically I needed to mount this to this and get the stepper back together. And I just got to make sure I got the right part. That one goes over there. And this one's going to go over here. Now, part of the design, so that you guys can see this, is that he's got slots in all the spots where the screws go. And then there's actually, like, molded spots for the nuts to actually sit in. So, well thought out design. I really amazed with some of these guys that, have the ability to think so far ahead and design something like this. I'm still so noob at it that I can do some, but to like do a race car or something like that, that's a little bit far beyond my abilities at this point in time, but I aspire to be that at some point. Oh, that's cool, Roberts. You know the guy that actually won it. That's cool. Yeah, I actually scored a 3D printer right around Christmas time because some college kid got it for Christmas and he didn't really want it. And I had a little bit of cash and I had a Home Depot card that was given to me for Christmas that, it was good for, I'm not sure exactly how much it was, but I will say that if you are building this, having a variety of different size fasteners is definitely going to be super beneficial. Because one of the problems that I'm having right now, either I'm grabbing the wrong parts or my hardware is not the right size again. See if I bury this. And I won't be able to slide it over the pipe. So, okay. Alright, that's that. Now, there is a difference between these left and right, these parts here that go in the back corners. There is a left and there is a right. And the way you can tell is that if you look right on, there's kind of like a line that lines up. I don't know if this camera's going to be able to pick it up. Yeah, maybe. That line kind of lines up with the edge. And the same thing with this guy, it lines up with the opposite. So, you want that going towards the inside, if that makes sense. So, but the other thing is when you print them, mark them afterwards. Well, I made sure I looked on the print and made sure that that was the way they were supposed to be. So, all right. So that's pretty much this side. Alright, before I get crazy, gotta remember which goes where, but that one there. I'm gonna put some fasteners in this. Oh, wait, wait, wait. I'm forgetting. I got washers. I caught myself. I caught myself. Oh. Tedious little parts. My washers are just a little bit too big. Story of my life. Trying to tighten until I can no longer feel looseness. Let's see, what are we doing? I am using a ramps board. What's going on, Mad Mike? Mark? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Sean is always Sean. That's for sure. Really like to have some music playing, but nobody wants to hear YouTube music. Just got to get the right orientation here. That's all. So that's going to be like that. Okay. I think that's what I need. It's a big line like that. That's a metric. It don't belong there. Neither do these guys. Yeah, false dreams. Okay. That's the up. Really should have a cleaner workspace, but half of what you see is the printer. I will show you that. Ah! You ever get those days where just nothing wants to cooperate with you, no matter how hard you try? I've done this 1,000 times. Why is it giving me a hard time today? That's what's happening right now. Alright. That's on. That's in. Biggest thing though is as you learn to do something, or if you're doing something in a repetitive motion, I try to tell my apprentices, each time you twist that wire, you can figure out a way to do it faster the next time, or more efficient, or easier, or any of those things. And I'm kind of a pretty systematic guy, and well, needless to say, I got to get a measurement. I'm gonna take a moment here. Come over to the computer. Say hello for a minute. Stepping away for Din Din. Be back in a little bit. Okay. Enjoy your dinner. Yeah, even no matter what kind of filament you're using, I mean, I would still use the washers just for the sake of the, it is only plastic, and it's not extruded, but it's, 3D printed, so the layers are susceptible to damage and to being pulled apart, no matter how good it is. But yeah, what's going on, John? How are you, sir? Welcome to the live stream. Now, Alex at one point was helping me try to troubleshoot what my Z-wobble was caused by. And he sent me some measurements. And I'm going to see if I can find what that is. 123. $123, he says. Let's see if that looks about right. So he's saying from here to here should be 123 millimeters. Wow, that's pretty good, actually. That's pretty close. Get a different ruler. That one's hard to see. It's still even hard to see. I'm going to set up light here real quick. Hey, that's better. Alright, so whatever it could be pretty close as far as the measurement goes, but you want to get it as close to even on both sides as possible. I know that much. Okay. Wait. this guy. That guy there. That guy there. Okay, we shall see. Swap this. Alright, next is going to be that guy does not want to go in. See, I got a problem here because it's still loose. Try not to crack the plastic. So, what I'm going to do to solve my problem, maybe, you gotta have a solution in mind, otherwise you just get stuck. I marked right where it sticks out. Tolerance is going to be an issue. Just got to find some electrical tape. I gotta go in the other room real quick. I'll be right back. It's green, but it will suit my need. Just trying to add a little girth to it. And I might have overdone it. Well, it's easy enough just to take a couple wraps off. And a couple more off. Just so well, I just did like a single little wrap around it, and it seemed to like it. So good to know. All right. Well, I'm making a huge assumption here, and I'm going to say that this guy is going to go the same way. So as a preventative measure, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it before I stick it in there, which is some good advice, just so you know. It was nice and tight. Just so you know, Chris, that's actually what Alex uses. I can actually, if you post up in the Facebook group as to what he uses, or look in the Facebook group, I think he posted up the one that he uses. Alright. So, basically the left side is taken care of. Got some parts here, some screws and stuff I've got to harvest. Get the camera view a little bit better, and basically going to do the same thing on the other side. It really wasn't that major of a task, as long as you had all the correctly printed parts. Okay. Make sure you don't take the stepper motor loose first. Now, I did get my piece of glass out today, and I weighed the piece of glass to the piece of mirror that I have, and the glass is actually 25 ounces lighter. So, I do have a clear piece of glass that I will be using as my print surface from here on. The only thing I really need off of this is just the hardware. It's a shame because most of the parts that I've replaced were all that carbon fiber PETG that I got for free. And to be perfectly honest, I could not see a difference in the surface finish between the atomic and the other PETG that I'm using. Which, I mean, black is black, so it's really hard to tell, you know, unless there's some kind of sheen or some extra. But the carbon fiber did not give me any different finish as far as texture goes, or anything to that effect. All right. And so I know that these two surfaces right here are the ones that I gotta have a measurement on, so I'm gonna put these guys on first, and that way I really can't have that nut on there, I guess. It does need to flex a little bit over the pipe. Okay. A little closer. I got nothing else to do tonight but just to get this thing back together, guys. So I do have to get up, slightly earlier than I would normally get up on a Sunday tomorrow in order to go help somebody out, do some work on their house. But so I won't be up all night long, but as long as it takes. So here is where I'm going to get my measurement. And I'm pretty good. Okay. And to attach the motor mount. Okay. Okay. We're in the home stretch here, folks. Boy, the outfit that nice and tight life would be good. But they don't. Oh, see that? Collar down, collar down. But that's why I printed spare ones. So that I can just easily ditch it. I didn't have a washer on it. So, on both sides that is. Saved by a forethought. Alright, let's see if I got a longer screw here. I want a washer. Just a washer. How you doing, guys? Still hanging in there? Hope I'm not boring you to death. Appreciate you hanging out as long as you do. I have found that live streams are beneficial to my watch time. And the editing process is a whole lot easier. Mucho better. All right. Time to mount the stepper. Okay. So now we know I need some more hardware. I am going to put a wrap of tape on this before I even attempt, because I'm going to make the same assumption. Huge difference, just so you know, huge difference. Just so you know, it takes years to be able to apply tape like that. Years, I tell you. Come on. Come on. All right. So I am at the point now where I can put the gantry back on before I can put the top on. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the camera with me. All right. That's back together. Sure I don't cross over anything. Okay. So now all I gotta do is this last top part. Well, here now, because these guys are going in the same connection as their opposite ends, I'm going to prophylactically put a wrap on those guys. But their counterparts are not like that. This is like trying to align the Earth and the Sun. All right. Now there is also a measurement for these guys. And I'm going to verify that measurement really quick. Actually, what I'm going to do, sit down for a moment here. Let you see my face. Alright, let's catch up. See. In between decorating. So Mark, let's see. How far back do I go? Thanks, man, Mark. What thickness at Matt? Thickness of what are you asking, Mark? Just so that I know what you're asking. Thanks, Rover, for keeping the stream up. Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with a smaller printer, but I mean, if you're going to build a printer, I would say go big or stay home. Oh, my glass, I'm not sure exactly what the mill is. I will measure it, but it's just regular plain glass that I got from the hardware store. What do I think of Zealtech's Matty Black PLA? I don't know if the stuff that I got was Matty, but I did get a bunch of Zealtech PLA in a lot of white. I mean, like over a dozen rolls. I printed my Stormtrooper. You see him right there. Right here. The rest of it's downstairs. It's one of my projects in progress. And here's where I'm at with it, is I need a mannequin so that I can put the parts on it and use the things that I've got to fasten it. It's kind of hard to try to fit stuff to my body, you know. With a mannequin, I could actually size it right up and do it like that. But Chris, you're staying home. Yes, same thing with me, Chris. I'm actually this piece of plywood or this chipboard that I'm on. I'm going to use that for the deck, but I've got some spare materials laying around. I figured I don't know, get the welder out, make a video, welding up a printer table, you know. But I'm going to customize and make a custom table just for this guy. And because I'm an electrician, I got spare parts laying around. I thought maybe they're called minis. They're Mineralax straps or a standoff strap. You can get them in different size and screw it right down to the wood, and then the pipes kind of like sets right into it and kind of clamps it right down. So I figured I would make a custom table and make it clamped, and it'll just be secure and rigid and all that. So alright, I gotta verify 160.6. 160.6. Alright, going over to no, don't want to do that. Over to that view right there. Okay. Tripping over my zippers. Alright, so got to get a measurement in between those two pieces. Here and over there. And I am sorry, but I just don't agree with that measurement. That'd be way out of whack. That's why. The measurement that he gave me is for the version. It looks like a version 1. So really going to be a crapshoot here. Not like that, that's for sure. Alright, I gotta put some screws in it in order to get it to tighten. Of course, I sat down and lost everything I was working on. It's rocky now. I don't like it. Don't like it. Yeah, I guess that depends on the part that you're printing, whether or not you need a shiny finish or not. But I mean, I printed this in black Zealtech, but I painted it after the fact, so it really didn't matter. I seen somebody posted up that that's all they buy is black because they paint everything. Okay, that's a little bit still rocky though. We'll fix that because, like you said, I'm gonna strap this puppy down. few more nuts and bolts. I'll be on putting the lead screws back in, mounting the extruder back up. I do have to do a little cleaning on the piece of glass that I purchased because I think it sat there for a while. Won't take but a minute. But I don't do windows on a normal basis. See, I don't like. Alright. So that's making it ride up. Because he gave me a measurement, and I just don't see how that's possible of me getting that degree. Let me get these top ones locked down. Alright. See if we can get a better idea as to what this is supposed to be. Right, that's 90. I guess I can, let's see. Yeah. I guess the other thing would be checking the squareness of it, but I'm gonna do this one more time. I just heard parts snapping. Oh man. I'll find a comfortable medium here eventually. Promise. Settle on something. I'm going to do it the same I did the other one. 125. Screw it. Tired of messing around with this. $125 it is. Feels a lot better than it was. If I didn't have the entry on this already, I would actually get like a square out and see if there was some way that I could get a mark, but I wish I at least had a level. Alright, so let's see. I gotta put the extruder back on, but I think I'm gonna mess with these bearings before I do. Just gotta find my other wrench. I had it. I was prepared. Where'd it go? Well, now the experiment that I'm running here, as you see, these guys are 4 bearings on the bottom. These guys are only 3 bearings on the bottom. So I'm hoping that maybe just that little less could, I don't know, make things move a little smoother. The worst that'll happen is it won't work. I'll have to tear this bed off one more time. The nice thing is that I don't have to level it each time because I have the probe. Because trying to level a 500 by 500 bed sounds to me like I would be pulling out the rest of my hair. So one thing I did do with these is these nuts that are in the side are the ones that I'm using to mount my bed. I actually hot glued them in place, so I will have to break out the hot glue gun here in a minute, and I'll do the same thing with the new mounts. It made life a little bit easier trying to get everything squared up with each other. Now the other thing is when I was putting this together, I had some old as well as some new bearings. So I am planning to make them all the same, being new bearings. But I know right where they are, so I don't have to search for them. Wrench down. Once again, I hope everybody that's here is subscribed. If you're not, please do. Check out the links that I have down in the description for any shopping that you might have to do that you'll do through any of my links that'll directly help the channel. As well as some places that you can go and give me some of your hard-earned money. Support me. Alright. One more. So once again, these are not manufactured parts, so any of the tolerances or anything that I'm suffering is due to my own settings. But I think the machine is tuned pretty good. I do have a finished part over here. But I've got 4 spare parts now, or 3 spare ones, so I think I'm good. I just have to go back at a couple spots that I'm noticing and put some missing hardware in that I see. Good thing to do a once over. Oh no! Crap! I did it again. I did it again. Oh, shoot. There is an orientation to everything, guys. And if you don't pay attention, my tight fit might be my demise now. I put it on backwards. Guess it's better to notice now than a little further into it. All right. Where were we? 125 millimeters. Crack! 2 steps forward and 10 steps back. Okay. Now everything's on the opposite side. It does give it a little bit of cleaner look to the front. I made this mistake the first time I put it together, if you've been following my videos. So, guess old habits die hard. Excuse me while I block the camera. Okay. Now I just got to get some hardware down in here. Okay. Over here. Okay. So, just doing a once over real quick, making sure every hole is filled. Got the proper orientation. Let me get my bed rails back in play here. I will say, though, that the best part about building a 3D printer from scratch is that once you put it together, you know how it goes together. So, if it ever means having to take it apart, you will know how. All right. Overall, I am saving 2 bearings by going this method. Just hoping it doesn't backfire. Okay, now to take away some of the slop, you tighten on the center ones. Kind of like the eccentric nuts on a S10 or a CR10. It already is rolling pretty smooth. There's not a lot of slop. I don't know. I think I might. Somebody stumbled upon something good. I believe it was John Smith. Maybe. He was in the live stream last night. Made the suggestion in the Facebook group. Okay. Yeah, here's Sloppy. Well, I did have a second wrench, but somehow I did do some cleaning. And it's MIA now. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. So I gotta break out the hot gluer, which I'm not exactly sure where it is, but it is in this space. Da 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 da. Hello, found it. All right, I'm gonna let that warm up for a second. I'm gonna come over here. Hello, Ron. Yes, sir, I am having fun. Got this thing almost back together. And we'll be printing here before too long. Just hit the 2-hour mark. On that note, we should, I'll get up, take a stretch, go pee if you have to. I'm going to get a fresh drink. I'm going to go pee myself. And I'm going to come right back. And we'll get to mounting up the bed. And we're going to... Why did we... Yeah, we did get an influx of people, eh? But, good. This will be the 7-inning stretch here for a second, guys. So, once again, get up, stretch, go pee, and we'll be back in 2 shakes of a husky dog's tail. All right. Looks like the hot glue is warmed up. Okay, so I'm going to throw us back on different view here. And I'm going back to work. All right, so harvesting some of my old hardware. Maybe. Maybe not. All right. So basically what I'm going to do is just insert the screws into their spot. And get them glued into place so that I don't have to try to finagle them like I did before. So this little trick came from experience. So once again, if you're building this guy, I suggest you hot glue your nuts into place for the bed. Not hot glue your nuts, but hot glue the nuts in place. But if you do hot glue your nuts, please do not hold me responsible. Okay, that's one. My next step is I'm going to have to put the lead screws back in, get the extruder mounted back up. I've got a piece of glass that I purchased to replace the mirror. For those of you just joining, I did get a piece of glass, and I'm shaving about 25 ounces off of my weight, which is quite a significant amount of weight, considering that it's just one little stepper motor that's got to move all of that. Now, one of the things I have thought about is that as I do start to lay plastic down on a big print that this printer will be capable of, the weight of the plastic is going to start to accumulate, you know. It might down the road be a dual motor upgrade. Which I think would probably make an interesting video. How to hook up stepper motors into series. Alright. One step closer. Okay. Well, we'll find out here. Things just don't seem like lining up like they did as good as the first time. Things are not lining up. Alright, maybe they are. Okay. This is where they seem out of whack, and that's, let's see if I get a camera angle. See the way these guys are poking out? I feel like this whole rack is back. And part of that is this measurement in between here. He gave me a measurement that just seems too extreme. And I've been messing around with this thing, trying to get it right. The angle of dangle is directly proportional to the heat of the meat. In case you did not know. I wonder if those two measurements were opposite. And this has to be 160. And those have to be different. Well, I guess crap. Sorry, my camera wasn't. So I'm thinking that the measurements that he gave me were reverse. That these guys are supposed to be 160 and up top is supposed to be 123. So that's what I'm going to make the adjustment for. I'm being a little bit more rougher than I would recommend. Now, give me a second here. I'll check the chat. I see somebody saying something. Oh, something's still wacky. I gotta check something else. Hey man, okay. Nobody's chatting. Alright, so I gotta make sure I didn't make another blunder. A big one. Let's see. Oh, crap. Guess what? There might be a difference. And there is. Son of a bitch. Yes, those scissor jacks are great. Alright, so guess what, fellas? And ladies, if there's any present, I am back to having to print some more parts. Let's see how long it's going to take. So, here's the deal. Never grabbed my drink, but I still got my coffee. Sorry. I have to appreciate anybody that doesn't not like, I mean, smoking is bad for your health, but it's my body, so I'm going to do it. But so, guess what, fellas? 14 hours from now, 14, it's going to take about 8 hours for one of these to print. So here's the deal, is that I'm going to move the camera here real quick and show you. So the problem that I had yesterday was that these parts, there's actually a version 2 with the rest of the parts. It turns out that these parts here are different as well. This part here is moved just a little bit further, and if you notice what's happening to my lead screw, it's just getting bent all wacky. So what I have to do is basically take it all apart the rest of the way. I've got to print those parts. Which we might as well go ahead and start the print now. Yeah, these scissor jacks are great. I use mine as a camera mount. I printed this at 150%. All one piece. I'm using Tesla glue, and in order to recharge it, I either, if it gets to the point where it's really bad, what I'll do is I'll take my, why can't I think? I'm doing two different things at one time, sorry. You use paint thinner with Tesla glue, and that thins it out. The guy that works at Tesla there, Dan, he actually uses like a brush that he has soaked in paint thinner and just kind of hits it. With me, I just have a little reusable foam or a disposable foam brush there, and I just take a little bit of, if I'm adding, I just spray it on and then wipe it around. If I'm smoothing out, I'll just kind of like dab it on the top of the can and just a little bit. You know, it's pretty easy. But the fact that I don't really have to re-up it that often, but I know I'm going to have an 8-hour print here, so I'm definitely going to want to make sure it's going to stick to the bed here. But I got to reboot my Pi. And we'll get to printing. So I guess we're going to have to do this in a part 3. I'll while we're still chatting everything, I guess I should make sure that I don't need to print the other parts as well. Let me get this guy printing here. So I guess I wasn't completely prepared once again. But we'll get this printing. Maybe I'll, seeing how I'm going to have this apart anyways, maybe I'll print one of your parts there, Chris, if you're still here. And, because I'm going to have to take that whole mount apart where I've got my limit switch. Oh, man, that sucks. Poopy, poopy, poopy. All right, Mo's warming. Once he's warmed up, we'll get him starting, and then got to check the rest of these parts. Do I like my Delta? Yeah, actually I do. It's apart right now. Printing that, let's see, that's version 2. No. Printing with that marble filament. I got some residuals left up inside of there. And I had to clean it out, and it didn't get cleaned out too good. Excuse me. Alright, looks like just those front parts, or those the Z rails I've got to reprint, so I actually have a not on the right camera. I actually have another platform jack over there that I use for that camera mount too, but it broke. So this thing's just got to go through its bed leveling. Unfortunately, I don't have enough PETG to start printing on the other. Yes, Chris, I do know that part. I'll print it in black, and I think I'll print it on the. I haven't printed PETG in a while on CR10. Do I have a... Yeah, I got a PETG. So, let's remove all of that. Go to CR10 PETG. 35. $240. 40 degrees. 0.3. 66%. 6 top, 4 bottom, 3 shells. Okay, and did I download that is the question. And print and we will go. Yes, this is a proximity sensor, not an inductive sensor. There is a difference. So proximity does not sense metal, it senses just an object. So, and yeah, it prints great on glass. Just checking my first layer here, folks. Now, PETG is a little bit different of a material than PLA. If you haven't printed a little bit, I'll give you a couple little tips. First, you want to print slower. Second, you want to print hotter. Third, you might want to just print without a fan, like I do. My bed is only at 50 degrees. I use Tesla glue, so I have a good bed adhesion. But you don't want a huge squash on your first layer, but you want it to be you want when it falls into place, you don't want it pulling itself around the corners. So a little bit of a mush, but not as much as PLA. So I adjust my first layer percentage a little bit. That's how I get what I want as far as a first layer. You know, if I want a good smush, I just decrease my percentage a little bit, and my nozzle goes a little closer, and I'm good to go. Back to the Delta. So right now I have it discombobulated. I couldn't find my crescent wrench when I did some cleaning. I finally found it. So what I've got to do is I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to pull the heat break out of it. I'm going to experiment. I have a few extra E3D all metal throats. So if that heat break will fit inside of that, it's going to get an all metal hot end, basically. I believe it will take the same nozzle as an E3D. So I will be using one of my spare E3D nozzles that I have, if it all fits. And hopefully that might increase my print quality a little bit, because it is just you know, aftermarket clone of E3D, but it was free. Can't beat a free 3D printer. So I got that from GearBest to review. I have a whole series on putting it together and doing the firmware. So if you are interested in doing that, it's out there. Was able to figure out the manual bed leveling through Marlin. Pretty much I've done it once and it prints. Got one little booger of a line right in that area, but prints pretty good, actually. So let's I guess I got to take take everything apart that I just put. I got to take the lead screws back off because they're bent right now, and I don't want to leave them like that for too long. And I guess I'm just going to start taking the rest of this chassis apart in order to prepare for these other parts. And I'll definitely going to have to continue this stream at a later date, but I'll hang around for a little while I take the rest of these things apart. So I'm going to go do that, because I got to stand up and get moving because I'm getting tired. Alright, I'm going to remove the bearings. Oh, man. Now, overnight, or while I was up working on my website and printing the other parts, I did experiment a little bit with a couple of 3D printed 608 bearings that I found on Thingiverse. They did not move within themselves, so I didn't print more than two. Tried a couple of different methods and just didn't get good results, so we'll not be going that route. I also dug out another power supply in order to, do a power check when we do get it fired back up. One of the problems that I was having was the screen was fluctuating. I was showing that the power supply was only putting out less than 12 volts, and not sure what the cause of that might be, but we'll be in full-on troubleshoot mode at one point or another. I'm just hoping it's not got to do with something with the actual Pi hat itself, you know. Now these parts won't go completely to waste because I do have an idea on something that I could do with these parts for the channel as well. You know, so I don't plan on just throwing these in a scrap bin. Alright, I'm going to leave the other one like it is until I get more parts printed. So, here I are at the literally almost the 11th hour. And I will keep this going for about another 15 minutes. 1 minute for everybody that we have in here. So I will answer any questions. I'm going to go over the chat real quick, see what I missed. Not much of anything been happening since. Yes, it is I Dream of Genie bottle. And there is a genie in the bottle. All right, Mark. You have a good night. Thanks for staying up late. This is a great bottle. I'll get close up on some of the bottle so you can see some of the detail. I printed this with translucent Tesla, and it came out great. Now, this is the first one, and I posted up on a couple of different mediums, social medias, and on my Instagram, somebody commented that if I was to slow it down a little bit, I would get some better results. So I proceeded to do a few test cubes, testing different temperatures as well as speeds. I was planning on doing a little bit of a video about, translucent and, well, okay, so this was printed at 40 millimeters per second. At 225 degrees. This was printed at 230 degrees at 20 millimeters per second. Now, there is definitely a noticeable increase.
Okay, check it out.
Increase in the print quality. My goal was to try to see if I could actually get it like clear, but it's genie bottle down. I think I've got some of the differential grease from man, that thing's crooked as hell. That's the other thing. I'm gonna really get some measurements correct from him before we proceed as well. So I'm just looking at this, and I know the camera can't get it all in, but it just looks like it's tilting backwards. So, and I know it's got to do with those measurements, but just one of those things about this kit that there were a few specifics that weren't exact, and they need to be discovered, and their measurements and stuff like that, as far as how far from this goes. So I'll definitely be getting a hold of Alex overnight and try to get some proper measurements for all those, so I can get this thing squared right up and printing good again. So anyways, couple of you drop it out. It definitely looks better. Yes, I agree. The overall look of the printer is let's see. I'm going to change the view here real quick. I mean, it's hard to tell, but there definitely is a lot better contrast between the parts. I definitely like the look of the black and the red together. Just, it looks much better. I tried to, the first one, I tried to make it so they were alternating, and it's still, I still think it looks better. The two different colors on top of each other. So I guess if nobody else has got anything that they'd like to ask or talk about, I'm going to sign off here. But once again, I hope that everybody here is subscribed and the notifications are on. Don't forget to check the description. There are links in every one of my videos as to how you can support the channel, do some shopping, save some money. Also, my website is up at www.insidethemindofmatt.com. Go check it out. It's still under construction, but it's something more than what I had yesterday. So, once again, speak up. If you got anything, I was wondering if wider timing belt is better for a bigger printer. Yes, it may be, but the parts for the belts, the idler bearing mount, definitely would have to be modified. Somebody did suggest a 9mm. 9mm width. This is a 6mm width, or 5 or 6mm. G26. So yeah, 6mm. But yeah, maybe. But the only other thing would be to put that second stepper motor in series with each other. Share the load. And then, of course, I'll have to print a different mount, get another stepper motor, and do a bunch of rewiring of the stepper motor ends and stuff like that. So, not necessarily something I'd be looking forward to doing, but... Alright, John, good night. Yep, I'm going to say good night to everybody. So I've had 3 hours, been up all day, got up early, ran around, got prepared for tonight. So, anyways, thanks all for stopping inside the Mind of Matt. Yes, I'll get in touch with you, Rover. I gotta get this guy to respond to me before I can go any further. So I'm dealing with language barrier. Good night, everybody. Thanks again. Happy printing. Be safe pouring. Keep coming back because there's going to be more inside the Mind of Matt. Peace.